Hello guys, welcome to my channel, Prince Lears. And just to get things started, I haven't really been doing videos because I'm new to this thing, to be honest with you. And I've been doing some of everything as well, like uploading random videos every now and then. But that's on my other channels. But just to give you a little backstory, a couple years ago, honestly my whole life pretty much I've been involved in, messing with animals a lot. Like, lizards, grasshoppers, roly-polies, centipedes, millipedes, just about almost any bug that I can find, or any animal or insect that I can find. I pretty much are intrigued with them, even plants. And as I grew older, I just so happened to uh, start to develop and understand how to keep animals. And from here and there, watching animal videos, you know what I'm saying? I love the Steve Irwin, RIP Steve Irwin. Um, but I learned a lot from the ecosystem, learning by watching, learning by capturing creatures, capturing lizards. And it's difficult when you're trying to catch them by hand because they're so freaking fast, but I manage. But besides all that, I was currently watching these videos about a month ago that showed me how to make a terrarium to where I didn't have to make any maintenance to it. It was algae terrarium or whatever. And I already had the idea before then, but I wanted to get more of a perfected idea of what I'm trying to make. And I noticed that I was failing, and a lot of my creatures, they started to get sick, and I had to release them back into the wild. And I'm glad that I did. But besides that, uh, I finally got the real idea of what I need to do. And it was one video. I think the channel is called The Terrarium, I think. And he gave me a good idea of what I should do. Let me show you guys really quick what I'm talking about. He said to take netting. I don't know if you guys can actually see this pretty well. He said to take netting and grab some gravel and some lumpwood coal, and to lay down the gravel first, then lay down your lumpwood coal, then lay down your netting that I showed you guys, and from there add some soil that you get from outside. You got to break it at 300 degrees for 15 minutes first to get rid of any of the parasites. And sadly, I'm I I collect things by advantage, saying that if I just happen to come across it, that's when I collect it. But what happened was, and I'm pretty sure you guys also got a good idea of the terrarium that I'm actually currently uh, developing right now, is I needed those parasites. I actually did need them. The reason why is because I'm trying to create my own ecosystem, pretty much, where I have my own decomposers, I have my predators, I have my herbivores, and I have my prey for my predators. So, in saying that, as I did develop the skill, I couldn't get it perfected pretty much. And what happened was, like I said before, everything started to get sick. The only thing that really thrived in the environment, besides the large lizards, were, well, not really large, but like brown anole, green anole, uh, your common blue-tailed skink, which I currently have right now. I have two of them, matter of fact. And I capture them by hand outside. They are wild. Um, were the bugs were the things that really survived. And I noticed over time that I had to actually allow the bugs to breed, which they are breeding. They're mating, they're doing everything that's natural, eating the decayed leaves that I put in there, making homes from the decayed wood that I put in there. And sometimes I'll go in there and spray around a little bit, make sure they have water, keeps the live plants that I have in there moist, and allow them to survive a little bit more, like they're in a natural habitat. Uh, they like I said, they survived, and that's something that I really, really hold dear to myself. That something survived in here. So I needed to perfect my skill, like I said, and I watched a couple algae growing videos. And right now, I only have the netting. I need the gravel and the lump coal wood. Once I get that, I can put a little bit of water over the gravel, put the net down, then put down my soil that I need for, you know, to have an environment or ecosystem that take care of itself. And then once I do that, I could just sit back and watch my pets and my creatures pretty much take care of themselves without me actually having to go in there and interact with them. But I can actually watch their behavior, what they would do outside, inside. So you guys, I made this video to pretty much share with you guys what I'm doing and how I'm going about doing it and what I want to do, my idea. And I also made this video to share with other people how to go about creating pretty much a tiny small bit of the ecosystem. Uh, like I said, in the terrarium that I'm going to show you guys in momentarily, the insects are thriving. And sometimes I would put a small piece of meat in there, and as gross as it sounds, it's not really that gross. I would let it spoil so that way I can create a small bit of gnats. The gnats is a favorite meal for the predators that I have in there, the two baby skinks that I have in there. They love these gnats and they eat them. So, you know, once the meat is fully dissolved, the soil will absorb all of the disgusting parts of it, and uh, you know, it just goes about its daily life. And sometimes I'll go on, and sometimes I'll open the hatch a little bit because I have a hole above it that I open so that way it can also grab the carbon dioxide that's out of my room and help the plants grow more and more stronger, keep them healthy or whatever. Uh, but yeah, all joke, all commentary aside, this is my terrarium for right now until I get the other equipment that I want, like the algae. I really want algae in there because it just looks nice to me. I love to see a terrarium with healthy algae, and I'm going to show you guys something else. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see it, but it's down there where you can see that I'm actually growing my own algae. And you would wonder why I'm using carpet. The reason why I'm using carpet is because I noticed that algae, well, where I stay at, the algae, it it grows faster inside the carpet more than anything else because the carpet holds a lot of moisture and it stays humid within the carpet a lot longer than it does out in the wild. You know, that's my idea of it. I'll look more into it as to why algae. I mean, not algae. I'm sorry, moss. Forgive me, guys. Why moss would grow like that in carpet? Because it's just it works wonders for some reason. It just does. Besides that, I wanted to grow some algae in there, and that's another. I mean, moss in there. So that's another reason why I also looked at that moss video. I called it algae, my mistake. Forgive me, but it was a moss video for a terrarium that I watched. So I put the moss in there. The moss starts growing really healthy because of the fresh water, the humidity, keeping it fresh, and also the bugs that's in there. They're also helping the plant grow. You see what I'm saying? So the bugs not only are benefiting from the algae, they are breeding, they're doing their thing, you know what I'm saying, doing their bug thing, going about their bug life or whatever. And what happens is my predators has a plentiful amount to eat on a daily basis, and I don't have to worry about going to the store to buy them anything. I don't have to worry about giving them water because of the humidity early in the morning. The humidity, it comes around, and the water evaporates that's inside of the moss. But currently, right now, it's just coming up from the dirt that I have in there until I get the rest of my what I'm gonna call it ingredients for my terrarium that I'm going to build. The evaporation gets around the wall of the enclosure, and they lap up the water. Sometimes if there's too little water, I'll go in and I'll spray sometimes, make sure that the flow of fresh water is currently flowing. But what I learned from the video, sorry guys that's taking so long, what I learned from the video is the 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 gravel and the lumpwood coal that I'm going to be putting in there, what it does is it cleans the water, it keeps the water fresh. And as the water evaporates, excuse my language, it keeps the water flowing. It keeps the water, fresh, and keeps it clean of all that putrid smells that happen if, you just put dirt in there. And the way I keep my dirt from getting all putrid and smelly like that is I I air out and I spray in moderation. Saying as when I spray, I wait probably about maybe 2 or 3 weeks and allow the evaporation to happen naturally. And when there's no more evaporation happening, I wait a couple more days, let the sand dry out a little bit more. I air it out. I open the hatch, I air it out. Then I spray again in 2 days afterwards. That's how I keep my dirt from getting putrid until I get my ingredients. Without further ado, let me show you guys what I'm talking about with my terrarium right now. It's kind of hard to see though, so I don't know if you guys can actually see it. Let me back up a little bit. As you guys can see, I have live plants in there. Uh, I have quite a number of things, like a couple blades of grass in there, just to add to the effect. It's not the best looking terrarium. Like I said, I have a better idea that's coming around later on. I just don't have the resources at the moment. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see the bugs in there, but it's a lot of beetles and roly polies in there that I got in there as decomposers to break down the dying leaves and the already dead leaves. Oh yeah, I forgot. I also have a couple baby mole crickets in there. For some reason, they say they're rare, but their breeding cycle happens in early spring. The females, they get impregnated in early springs, and the babies don't hatch until around July, August, or October. And where you can find them is the way I find them is I run a little water out of my hose in the backyard, and what happens is they'll come up out of the dirt, and you can use your hand or you can use a little bottle cap or whatever you want to use. You just scoop them up, and you put them in a bottle until you get them in the house. And from there, let me get you a wider shot of what I'm talking about here. As you can see, yeah. But what happens is, you got the dirt under there in there, and what they do is they dig burrows into the ground where it creates a pathway to where the plants can get oxygen. Not only do they do that, but they also keep the plants in check by eating the roots. I just don't want them to overeat, because if they overeat, then I have to get new plants. But what works perfectly that I find about these plants that I have in here is these are actually uh, pinto beans, and they work well with absorbing a lot of carbon dioxide. I didn't even know that until I started planning until I just tossed them in there. So what what's good about pinto beans is you don't have to worry about them going bad anytime soon as you wait to put more plants in there. And they just work well. They feed the mole crickets, they feed my roly polies, they feed my beetles, they feed my earwigs, they feed everything, and it's just beautiful, you know. It's really really beautiful. And every now and again, like I said, I'll throw a little breadcrumb in there. I'll throw like a little piece of cat food in there for the roly polies, which is safe for them to eat. Um, and sometimes I throw dead leaves in there, and they'll just go to town. What I also add in there is also worms, but I haven't currently caught any worms yet. So that comes with time. Um, like I said, I do have two blue-tailed skinks in there. One did lose his tail while I was trying to capture him. He kind of wiggled out of my hand, and before I could grab him, I thought I had him good enough, not tight enough, but just a firm grip, which I learned by just catching lizards over and over and over again. Uh, I gave him a firm grip, and he squeezed out. You know how slick skinks are to some of you guys that are outside. He wiggled out, and he popped his tail in trying to escape. So yeah, I feel pretty bad about that. But I just currently caught a second one, which kept his tail this time, and currently they're somewhere hiding. And I watch them. They run around. They eat the small gnats that are in there, or they eat the small little insects that like to burrow into the wood and like hide up under like the sand or whatever. They like to dig and chase after them. And I currently also have two huge flies in there because the bigger one that I caught is still a juvenile, but it's bigger than the smaller one I caught, and it's big enough to handle flies. Uh, yeah, they are living naturally. You know what I'm saying? Like they're doing their thing in there. They're breeding. They're doing everything. Uh, but like I said, guys, this idea that I have is to permanently fix the cost rate of taking care of lizards, because not only can you do this for small lizards, which you can find it's cheaper to do it for small lizards because you don't have to buy such a huge thing. Because I didn't even buy this enclosure. This it's actually a bin. It was given to me by a neighbor who didn't want it anymore, and I just turned it into a terrarium. So what you can do for your larger creatures, let's just say you have a blue tongue skink. I mean, I'm not sure if this is the right size bin for it, but if you have one that looks like this, but this size or a little bit bigger, you can do the same thing with this. You can do the same thing that I'm doing here on a bigger scale. You see what I'm saying? And it'll do the same process. It'll be the same process, just with bigger creatures. And you know, um, you feed your skink maybe some baby mice or whatever, or some larger insects if you want. you know just let them breed, and your skink or lizard will be the controllant in there to maintain how many bugs are in there. And as the population gets bigger, you just add more lizards. It's just that simple. And they're naturally easy to catch. Let's just say a brown they know. You have to catch them by really taking them by surprise, because what lizards are do, they skittish. And what they do, just a little tip for you guys to try to catch them with your hand that's having a complication. What lizards do is they wait for the moment that you're about to strike to move, and they move with blinding speed because they're fast. You think you have them, but you don't have nothing. It's the same thing with catching a fly. If you can ease up to the fly, or either you can catch the rhythm of the fly while he's flying, you'll catch him more often than you would if you're just swinging around or just randomly just throwing your hands at them, because that's what they thrive for. They thrive for that moment to escape. They do. They really do. Like, this coming from years of experience of catching them. And if I'm wrong, you guys, what I'm saying, correct me or whatever, leave it down in the comments below. And I'm sorry that I'm recording this, but this is just to give you guys a good idea of what type of enclosure to look for, because honestly I want to move to a bigger scale. I want to take what I have here and put it into something like that, but something more like something transparent, you know what I'm saying, to be able to watch them in their natural, act as if they're in their natural habitat. And yeah, pretty much like I said before, I just don't have the current ingredients right now to complete it, but I have one of three things. Well, really one of two things. And that's that the screen. Any screen will work, by the way, you guys. Um, but just guys, thank you for watching the video, and I'll soon to try and show you guys more and more of my development. If you guys like this idea, please leave down in the comments below of what else I can do to help my terrarium grow and become better and more perfect. Uh, Thanks again. This has been Prince Lyris. Later.